Mercedes hardware. So in our rule, in our shop, we have a rule. The rule goes like this: use Mercedes hardware wherever possible. Now, what do I mean by Mercedes hardware? Well, there are 3 tiers of hardware. Tier number 1 is original Mercedes hardware. And original Mercedes hardware, I have some nice plated stuff to show you, made by brands like Camax, Verbus, Lobo, Reba, Caro, all those funny sounding German names that are stamped right here, nipping on the head of the bolt. Now later on, Mercedes decided that they were going to simplify this, so you started getting hardware from 3F and 4F, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, but let's see if we can get a bigger one. But this is still Mercedes hardware. If you see 3F or 4F, it's still Mercedes. It's still good stuff. And the 3F stuff, by the way, you started to see, you know, a long time ago, actually, in the 80s. I don't know how far back. I saw 3F transmission pan bolts on a 380 SL, although I'm not sure if that was the same stuff. Now, the second tier is replacement Mercedes hardware. And so this is the 4F that I was telling you about. It's a grade 10 fastener. You may also see another one that's stamped KX4, which Camax is what I think this is. I think it's still Camax. And they have the grade stamped here, which is 10.9. So this is okay too. If I look under a 450 SL, all the bolts on the structural support that goes underneath the transmission have been replaced with non-Mercedes bolts. I'm going to call Mercedes and order all the bolts from them. I'm going to get modern Mercedes hardware, and that's fine. It's good. It's acceptable. Let me tell you what is not acceptable. This might look just like a bolt, but that's exactly what it is. It's just a bolt, and it's made by S. Whoever that is. Usually it's the first letter of a 4-letter word that starts with S and ends with T. That's what the joke is. And we try not to use this stuff. And you'll find it in aftermarket kits. You'll find it on cars where people just didn't care how they're putting them together. So when we do a mechanical restoration on a car, which is our primary type of restoration we do here at Pierre Hedary's, we don't leave that stuff in the engine. If we find non-Mercedes stuff, unless they're the standard bolts holding on a York compressor, we do whatever we can to put a correct bolt in place of the substituted bolt. And that's why I keep boxes and boxes and boxes and drawers of original Mercedes hardware, because you can't, might not look good. This is a Camax bolt for the lower ball joint on a 560 SL, 300E, or 190E. May not look good, but it's not gimmicky. You know, you can still see some plating. The thread's damaged, so I'd have to chase the thread. Still, it needs to be replated, of course, but the replacement part has an 18 millimeter head instead of a 19 millimeter head. Holy economics, Batman. I wonder if there are any consequences to that. Well, no, it's not really consequential. It's just, it's not keeping with the quality that the cars are built with. So when we finish something like this, after it's been replated, you know, look at this original Allen bolt. This is a Camax 6 millimeter Allen. Let's see what else we can find. You know, I showed you this beautiful 10 millimeter nipping bolt that, I don't know what this is for actually off the top of my head, but you know, you see this stuff, and once you're done with it, you know, like once you're done with it, this is the center console screw, by the way, for a 450 SL. It's a very long, actually maybe it's not, hold on, got the wrong head on it. But you know, even the little screws, like I try to keep the screws and even the nuts together, because these nuts, again, they're quality, they're harder, they're better, they're more corrosion resistant. They're made of virgin steel. They're not made of stuff that's been recycled over and over again. Its origin, almost always Germany. The other stuff, origin, China, Taiwan, whatever. No, it's not the same as original Mercedes hardware or even the new replacement Mercedes hardware. It's just not. It's not good enough or strong enough. It doesn't pass the test. I remember we had a 600 in here that had a bunch of generic yellow zinc plated hardware installed on the engine. And it was just terrible. The washers weren't the right size or thickness. They didn't have the right amount of wave to them. The metal wasn't tinsel enough. It was just there to look good because somebody said, oh, it's just going to be easier if I replace everything. Well, you know what I did? I replaced as much of that hardware as I could with original hardware, but it didn't matter. Engine got ripped out of car because the guy who owned it was an idiot. So I should have just forgotten about it to begin with. So anyway, going back to the whole thing about hardware, don't throw your hardware away. Even if your hardware looks gross, clean it off in gasoline, see what you actually have. You know, other than the little 10 millimeter bolts that go into the cooling systems on Mercedes, which should be replaced, try to save your original hardware if you're doing a major project. If you like working on Mercedes and you see some parts cars at a mechanic shop or whatever, ask them for hardware. I know my friend Jamie contacted the devil himself, Ramon at Used Auto Services, because Ramon in his infinite wisdom was throwing away buckets of good Mercedes hardware. You know, because that's what people do, take apart cars. They actually look at the good stuff and throw it away. You know, concentrate on the fast moving stuff. By the way, it's really funny because like, I think that he's actually getting out of that business, which is good. But anyway, Jamie was like, hey, can I have your hardware? Great, you know? He's like, nobody appreciates this stuff, especially people who put stuff together really appreciate good hardware. They know the bolts will hold torque. They know they're not going to snap. They know they're going to unthread years later because the threads are such high precision and the metal is such high quality it doesn't corrode. This stuff might look shiny, like this JM generic 8.8 M10 by 1.5 bolt, but you give this thing 10 years and it's going to be corroded because it's just galvanized with, you know, it might be stainless steel on the outside, but that stuff wears through and it will seize. The Mercedes stuff is high quality steel all the way through. It's very rare for it to break. There are some notable exceptions, but it's just very rare for it to break. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other channel. This is Night Shop, where I blog about my experiences in the shop. And please like, share, and support this channel if you want great Mercedes advice, such as how to keep your Mercedes, you know, in actual good condition. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.